Welcome to the MTG Uncensored podcast. Magic is a game for everyone, but this podcast is for adults only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the MTG Uncensored podcast. I'm your host Tyler, and I'm here with my, three co-hosts today. Joe's not here today, but we got Leo, Travis, and taking Joe's place today is Mike. What up, Mike? We don't go by the colorful names. We just use our real names. We had a vote. We didn't know if we wanted to use our gaming persona names, our real names. Travis was like, "Dude, just do a regular fucking names."
I love how you call them colorful names.
Mm-hmm. Colorful names. Well, Mike's is Green Giant. I'm I the Wrecker. Here's GK Juggalo. Travis, what's yours?
Revo.
Wait, what's that from?
Nothing.
No, just like the way it sounds. You saw it.
Yeah, it's just a
Rio every time I
it's
see
just a
it.
name I've used ever since I played competitive.
What do you mean?
video game.
What do you mean? You see the word Revo and you say Rio? Did your brain just ignore the fucking V?
Yeah.
What? Why?
That's exactly what happens. I don't know.
What? I see the word newspaper and I
Mine
just see the word
automatically
new. I just say
thinks
new.
Rio.
What the
I
fuck?
bought some paper today.
I just bought some paper. It's blank. There's no news on it. My God. What's all this news on my paper? Oh, what? Well, at least that's cool, though. I sat up late at one night and I'm like, I'm going to be the Wrecker. No, I the Wrecker. That's a badass name. I'd follow that guy on Twitter. Yeah. So what's everyone been up to? I know me and Travis went to EDH the other night. That was fun.
I was a little
Chilling,
jealous.
really?
I didn't get to play this weekend, so I'm a little jealous that I didn't get to play.
Dude, you missed a doozy. Me and Travis watched 5 counter spells on the same stack.
What?
Dude, this was insane.
That's a good.
The group hug hippo deck, right? When that happened?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was he even trying to cast? Wasn't it a board wipe? What was it?
So he was trying to wipe the field because the guy in front of him did not. The guy in front of him had a disgusting field, kept powering him up with the trample counters and all that stuff, and he wanted to wipe the board, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do that." And then he goes, "No, I'm gonna counter the He went the board wipe. He goes, "No, I'm gonna counter it." And then he goes, "Actually, I'm gonna counter your counter." So the board wipe goes through, and the guy had a second cancel, and then cancels the cancel. So it was like 3 counters on the
Dude,
stack on top
that
of the
was
board
insane.
wipe. We're like, all right.
Me and Travis were just sitting off to the side like, what is happening? Oh my
Hey.
God.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Dude,
Oh
the
my
amount of unspent mana that had to have been on the field to have counter.
Oh no, so that's kind of what we were
after
saying
the
too.
initial
Like,
play.
yeah, this guy was literally passing turns. Like, he was an instant
All the
sorcery
mana,
deck.
yeah.
He would pass turns. He would draw and be like,
Oh,
yeah, let's pass.
Honestly,
right.
I thought a lot more of my stuff would have got countered. Like, I feel like I didn't. Maybe I had one thing countered that whole game from him.
Yeah,
But
and
You
he
were
had
the
them.
threat.
No, I won the game.
You weren't the threat.
I won the game. Dude, and I didn't even mean to. Like, I had my Teysa
Yeah.
Karlov deck that doubles the death triggers. I didn't even need it because I told Mike I had an Assault Intercessor on the field, which whenever a creature an opponent controlled dies, the controller takes, the owner takes 2 damage. And then Blood Artist, and I Martial Cooed for 9. So it's a board wipe, but it also gives me 9 because it's X cost, X white. And if X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures, but create X 1/1 White Soldier creature tokens. So I created 9 1/1 White Soldier creature tokens, and since X was more than 5, it was destroy all other creatures. And the board was stacked. I mean, there was a lot of creatures on everyone's field.
yeah,
So we kind of did some quick stripper math, and we were like, oh, hold on, oh, that's game, I think. Not because of
Yeah.
Blood Arts, really. I mean, the left game was good, but it was really because the Assault Intercessor. But yeah, no,
I think you won on a board wipe, didn't you?
No, that's what I'm talking about, the Martial Coup.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
but let's be real, the only reason I won that game was because the Hippo
That
deck
guy
was drawing me.
draw like
2 cards a
3 cards
turn.
a turn.
Yeah. I wasn't getting lands, and that was the one part of the deck I didn't have to work on because that was the torn down Liesa Shroud of Dusk deck that I just took half apart. But yeah, that was a wild game.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then I whipped out Coma, and then Coma was popping off. Every way you think Coma could work, except like doubling Season of Parallel Lives, was amazing. It was bouncing everything other than serpents, leviathans, and everything to people's hands, making 6/9/9 Kraken tokens. And then Travis looks on his board and he goes, well, that's cool, but I'm gonna make Joda a 22/22 with fear, so he's unblockable. Oh, he's also hexproof, so you can't tap him down with Coma. So I'm just gonna kill you. I'm like, are you fucking? I got 6 Krakens. I got like 12
game,
Comas.
I pulled out Joda. I'm like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this shit anymore.
Bro. And I'm running the game at this point. I'm the clear threat. I'm like sitting on my high mountain. Travis is like, yeah, but I'm just gonna kill you though. Out of nowhere.
Joda comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, and it happens all the time. We always underestimate it. And he's like just sitting over there doing nothing. And then next thing you know, it's just like that, Tyler. It's like, so yeah, I have a 22/22, and I'm gonna kill you.
Well, it wouldn't have been so bad. I could have tapped him down by sacking a Coma's Coil token.
Fear.
Yeah, land game of fear. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, so he's like a hexproof.
Yeah, I had one creature giving all my historic spells hexproof, so he couldn't target it. He went to target it. I'm like, yeah, no, you can't do that. And then the other legendary gave all my historic spells double strike, so I was like, yeah, it's over.
That was a come around game too, because you really didn't have much until that point.
Double strike.
Yeah, I hate double strike when it's blocked.
Yeah. I think everyone does.
Later.
Oh god. Yeah, that was definitely cool. But we did talk to Flipside. We're going to talk to the owner, Mike, about possibly doing a in-person podcast there. I think that'd be pretty cool, but I've yet to email him, which we should.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to talk to him in person because we're not asking for much, but I think it's just a cool thing to do, like a travel show. Do it at Flipside.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Yeah, I think it would be fun just to have the sponsor to have like an LCS actually sponsor a show, or just like maybe do like once a month where they do it at the store.
Right. I think it'd be cool. I just don't see other podcasts doing that, so it's pretty cool. Let's see. So all right. So we'll go to the first topic here, not the main topic, but the Magic. We started talking about it a little bit, but the Magic Foundation set. And Leo pointed out I'm skipping over a set, but because I saw it and was just like, oh, okay, when do we start doing that again? So the Magic Foundation set is something that's coming out in November 15th, but it's gonna be reprinting a bunch of staple cards, Day of Judgment, Omniscience, Land of War Elves, like a bunch of stuff like that. But these cards are gonna stay in rotation till like 2029. So I don't know. There's not a full set list or anything, but how does everybody feel about that?
I kind of feel like what Mike said, where it's like another core set that's coming out. Why they didn't just come out with a core set and they're changing things up is beyond me. But go ahead, Mike. What were you gonna say?
I feel like they're changing things up because they haven't done a core set in about 3 years, if that. And the foundations, it makes it so that they don't have to keep reprinting and making a new core set every year. It is a singular core set that'll last the course of multiple years, and it acts as a foundational base for Standard. Because over the course of the last few years, Standard itself has also changed dramatically.
Isn't a standard rotation for a set though 5 years also, or no?
Honestly, I haven't looked into what the standard rotation is now. I know back when I was playing Standard, which was back around like Scars of Meridian and everything.
Oh my god, show your age much.
Yeah. It was very much you have a block. And the block was only like 3 sets.
Yeah, I remember that.
When a
actually.
new block started.
Oh my god, no, I'm old too.
When the new block started, the old block would start to rotate out. But now there is no longer a like block setting. We keep jumping planes every set, and it's constantly changing. And like we have so much content that is in Standard now that it's always changing because there is no base foundation.
Get it? Foundations. Funny. So, I mean, I guess I like it. I do. I didn't mind core sets back when I was standard. Why don't any of us play standard? Like, is anybody interested in that? Because I kind of am. Like, again on arena, and I'm always like, I could be a standard player.
No,
I
I
could
played
do it.
modern.
Modern.
Never really gotten to standard.
I started with Legacy, and I had the whole pool of cards to choose from, and I never wanted to limit myself.
No, I got issues with Legacy because that's like whoever has more money is gonna win. I mean, I know it's kind of the same thing for Commander. It's not very different, but having multiple cards at the same thing, like, I think Singleton's a little like. I think Singleton helps the people who can't always afford the crazy expensive cards because it's 100 cards or 99 cards in the deck. There's only one of each, and the chances of you getting that one specific $500 card are 1 in 99. But in Legacy, it's much more money matters, and if you can swing more money, you're going to win the game.
Yeah, I never played Legacy, so I can't speak on that.
I mean,
Yeah, I haven't either.
It's a yes and no there. Like there is you see this person that can spend thousands of dollars on their deck. And when I was playing Legacy, I was playing newer cards that just came out in standard, like Surgical Extraction and New Phyrexia. And just having those cards in my main deck, I made people scoop all the time. And at the time, it was a $5 card. I'm playing against people that had $1,000 decks, and as soon as I played Surgical Extraction on one of their cards, they would scoop. Like, I can't do anything, I lose.
Yeah, because you're taking out the one win con on their deck with a Surgical Extraction from their hand, their graveyard, and the deck, right? That's the 3 places?
Yeah, when you play Surgical Extraction, it has to target a card that is in a player's in their graveyard, and you get to look at their hand, and you get to look through their deck, and you remove all other cards with that name from the game.
Get out. Go home, Jimmy. Your night's over.
And it was a Phyrexian black mana to cast.
Play.
Well, I say you can't play cards anymore, so leave. Tell your mom I said hi when she picks you up. Yeah, it's I'm not against it. I'm always a fan. Okay, Joe's gonna hate me when I say this, but I am a fan of reprints to an extent. There are cards I believe should not be reprinted, but I'm sure you guys may feel the same way. But I was just telling him the other day, I was like, man, I can't wait for this reprint of that first set of Star Wars cards. He's like, no, I hate it. I'm like, why? He goes, because the Vaders are going to go down in price even more. He goes, all the good cards are going to go down once they start reprinting it. I'm like, well, they already did go down. I think they're going to hover where they are, but exclusivity is good with cards, but I think something like this is good because it gives standard rotation. And, I mean, us as players, too, we have the chance to rip these cards in packs again. Like, when's the last time you ripped a Day of Judgment or an Omniscience in a pack?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most exciting things about it for me is being able to reopen the cards again.
Yeah. Well, you said it's like the little kid that you
like.
Like reignites your like little kid imagination or that dopamine rush.
As we said before in another podcast, it's good for the players, but it's terrible for like the collectors.
Is it terrible though? I mean, how much is Day of Judgment now? How much
terrible.
How much?
I think this set is definitely going to be terrible for collectors. I mean,
but why terrible? Why so? They're not reprinting Black Lotus
because of the reprint.
No. Yeah, but they're not reprinting like crazy big cards.
I mean,
like right now, Day of Judgment right now is going for 65 cents.
Well, it's going for $1.50 at least of the original printing.
I'm looking at it, man. Hold on, that was M12 Zendikar.
You gotta look at the market price.
Okay,
not what it's being
for.
You gotta look at the market.
We're
price.
talking pennies here, guys. I mean, I'm not concerned. Omniscience is probably a better one. Omniscience.
I don't even think that was that much, honestly.
You could buy an Omniscience for $5.40 right now.
So let's see here.
I mean, if they started reprinting huge cards that are deep into people's binders with value, then I kind of have absolutely have an issue with it. But
Well,
this,
like when
I
they
just
started like reproducing or reprinting doubling season out of um whatchamacallit, there
Battle
the
Bond.
Eldraine set,
Mhm.
and then Battle Bond, and then it even came out in a set
So
after Eldraine.
doubling season is the card for me that made me get upset with reprints.
What was that?
Doubling
Yeah.
season was originally printed. I fought tooth and nail to get a copy of it. I didn't want to spend $50 on a copy of it. Finally, the price kept going up, up, up. It hit 75. It hit $100 at one point, and I just didn't want to spend the money on it. It got announced that it was getting reprinted in Battle Bond, new artwork, price dropped. I finally picked up a copy of it because the price dropped, and I was like, it's just going to go up again. Now it's been reprinted so many times that my version of doubling season that at the time I spent $65 on because it was the foil version, it's now worth $40, and its price isn't going back up because they just keep printing it.
But then what's more important to this though? I mean, just collecting the game or playing the game? Because in an instance like me on the other side of the fence, I'm seeing a huge barrier wall with price because I'm not going to trade in that many cards to get one card. I'm not going to spend that much money at one time at that point in time just to get a doubling season. But now I see on the other side, it's getting reprinted. It dropped to $40. I'm like, yes, I can play it. Like, why is collecting it more important than playing it? I think there's a fine line you do need to walk. You can't tank cards' values and just keep reprinting them. But I think there should be a medium. And I think they're following. I mean, doubling season is still a few dollars.
Oh yeah, it's sitting roughly around
Depending on the
$35,
version.
$40.
Yeah.
You're right. It depends on the version. Well, wasn't the version kind of the answer to that then? Because if you like the one I got the doubling gooses that Mike I traded Mike
you had
for,
the
or got
confetti
from Mike.
foils, you had the portal
Yeah,
list.
but
Those cards are going to hold money. You know what I mean? Because they're
before
different
that,
kind of arts.
before those even came out, I went out, got a doubling season. I dropped 75 on mine.
I remember that. Yeah.
Literally, 2 sets later or whatever, that shit tanked.
Yeah.
In
markets for 41 right now.
All right, so here's an example of what the reprinting does. There is a judge promo of doubling season. It has the DCI stamped in the corner. Like it's a one of one. There's not that many of these out there because they were only given out to judges, and it was top tier judges.
Well, it's not 101. It's one version.
Yeah, it's one version. That's why I said there's not many.
Yeah,
of them. Back a year ago, that card was selling for $110. The judge promo version. Now it's selling for $50. And that price is steadily going down. It is not going back up.
Yeah, moderately played foil, $52, $57.
And it's like this card, that DCI stamp in the corner makes it very unique because it was only given to judges.
I feel like that only means so much on cards nowadays, though, because I just saw the Omniscience Judge foil was only $15. I mean, the card was $5 or $6, so it's like almost triple the value of the card, I guess. But but there's only so many Judge promos. Like, why would a reprint affect a Judge promo? That's still an exclusive version.
Well, here's another card right now. The Gaia's Cradle. It is on the reserve list. It will never be reprinted. Because they know it will never be reprinted, there is a judge promo of the Gaia's Cradle. Its market price is $2,300.
Yep.
As soon as they announce we're releasing the Vault reprint, it's gonna go down to 70.
Well, no, reserve list. They can't.
Yeah, it's the reserve list.
I was just kind of.
Okay, so then why not expand the reserve list then? If we want to,
Hasbro is actively trying to get rid of the reserve list. They are actively trying to get rid of the reserve list to reprint these old cards. That's why they did the 30th anniversary where they reprinted Black Lotus. That's
don't even get me started on that. That's
the thing. They did
so
that,
stupid.
and it was a proxy set they claimed. That's how they got around the reserve list.
Yeah, it's bull. What an actual scam that was.
And but they're actively trying to get around it because they're reprinting new cards now, different names, slightly different abilities, but they do the same thing. Like there's growing rights of Itlamok. I can never pronounce it. It was printed in Ixalan. It's an enchantment that eventually flips into a land, and it does the same thing that Gaia's Cradle does. Adds a green mana to your mana pool for each creature you control.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the thing that made it different was it was a legendary land and it was a flip. It was on the back of an enchantment.
I don't know.
Yeah, and cards like that, like what Mike just said, like that's gonna kill the value of the original cards that did that. You know what I mean? So.
But in my
It's just
opinion,
gonna-
I still think Gaia's Kratos, even though it's the exact same, I think it's more easily accessible, and I think it's a better version. So maybe, I guess, a little bit. Like if you just kind of copy and paste a card
It
onto
depends.
another
You gotta
one.
look at mana cost, utility,
Right.
usage, colors. I mean, there's so many variables.
Right. No, you're right.
See the whole price point of the cards, it comes down to, are you collecting it to collect it, or are you collecting it to play the game? If you are doing it to play the game, reprints are great. It's a great thing to have. But if you are buying this product to collect it, to be like, I have this, reprints significantly hurt you.
Well, then I think they should expand the reserve list, because if there are cards that the community agrees should not be reprinted because it's no longer more played than collected. If a card is more collected than played, then I think that they should go on a reserve list. Or maybe they can treat the reserve list like the ban list. Cards can get banned and unbanned at all, really any time. And that makes them playable and not playable. I think that's harsher. In this way, if they put on a reserve list, it's like, hey, it's still playable, but we're not going to reprint it. At least for now, like really reserve, like really keeping the value of the card for X amount of time. And in the short term, that would make the price go up a lot, and it would maintain. But then, say a card gets unreserved, it would tank almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe that harsher drop is not good.
Speaking as a collector, like there's a reason why if I get a good pull, I'll hold on to it for like the time being. If I pull a second one, I'm definitely trading that one in because I don't want more than one typically.
Right.
But I also like to trade in cards that I just feel aren't going to hold its value, or I just see that's not going to hold its value. Like Ocelot Pride, like I think that's going to hold its value, but I traded that in because I feel like it's going to drop a little bit. I don't think that's going to stay there forever. I think is the hype behind it, but I traded that in because I feel like I was getting more money from trading that in and getting like towards like another box than I would be holding onto it.
I can see that card being a steady $25 card.
Yeah, but when I traded in, it was like 40.
Right.
So it's like I don't think
it's got
me
hype,
holding onto it for 3, 4, 5 months is gonna sit there at 40. I think it's gonna drop 15, 20 bucks at least.
Yeah. No, that's like the smart thing to do, man. I was just bragging about trading in my Boba Fett for Star Wars at 120, and then 3 weeks later it drops to 60.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think they get over the hype period and then they kind of settle into where they're going to be for the next months or even years until a reprint or something like that happens.
It's a mini stock market game you got to play with the shit, and that's why as a collector I prefer sealed product. You know what I mean? I think sealed product holds its value way longer, way stronger than the individual card.
Well, you know why? Because the sealed is, as the person who wants to buy it and what drives its value is, hey, there could be an Ocelot Pride in there.
Yeah, it could be in there.
Could be.
The serialized card could be in there. Yeah.
And us, our addict mind, we're scratching our necks like, oh, dude, it could be in there, man. I always wanted to crack one,
I don't know. I could have so much value sitting on my shelf and just not know.
No, but it's worth more to the person who wants to buy it, because you're right. Because what if it's not though? You're gonna make out if it's not.
Yeah.
So then, as from the collecting aspect of it, what do you feel about this whole X-raying packs to see what's in them thing?
Oh my! I just saw that. I was watching videos on that.
I didn't even know about that. That's a thing.
Go ahead, Mike.
About that.
There is a company now that you can pay them to X-ray your booster packs. They've even X-rayed full booster boxes, and they can tell you if there's a hit in there or not. They can tell you what the card is that is in that pack.
It wasn't a perfect system.
I think that's dumb as hell.
It's not perfect, but it was close enough that it is swaying the entire collector community that I have talked to.
I didn't even know about that.
Well, it was.
How can they see every card?
Well, I saw a video of a guy who bought a broken MRI machine like an old broken one for like $1,500. He fixed it, and he was doing Pokemon packs, and he put it on the whole pack in the scanner. There was a bunch of things he had to tweak because the cards had to be sitting right. There needed to be enough air between each cards to be able to read them, blah blah blah. And he got like a perfect angle on the MRI machine, and he was able to see that in his Pokemon Jungle Pack that there was a pincer in the back. That was the hit, and that was in the back. Now, it was hard to tell if it was foil or not, but you could see a lot of the cards, just vague shadow images of them. But you could like make out, oh, that's a pincer. And
my question is, the cards are stacked on top of each other. How are you seeing every card?
well, you had to like adjust contrast. I mean, there's probably so much to an MRI machine we don't know what happens. Like I can't wrap my head around how it works, But I don't.
Fair, but...
Mike, are you saying there's a service that does this though?
Yes, there is actually a service that does this.
Who is it?
I am searching now to actually confirm that.
We're a podcast. We gotta let the people know.
Let's like hunt him down.
Yeah.
And
You're ruining my
tell him,
pack
"It's like,
values."
You can't do that. It's no good. Shame on you.
Yeah. Like who woke up and was like, "Yo, I'm gonna fuck everyone's value up." Hold on, let me tweak this MRI machine.
I want to know what was in that guy's mind. Whoa.
Well, he probably wanted to get paid.
It's an industrial CT scanner.
CT, yeah.
That a company is using. Oh, let's see here. What is the name of the company? I found the article for it, and it's like clearly this guy's scanning it, and you can see it's a Hypno Pokemon card.
Yeah, I found the same article.
I've only seen it with Pokemon cards, though. I mean, is there been any try? Because the guy in the video I watched did say Magic cards were harder because the way they're packaged.
It's $75 a scan. It says.
Yeah, $75 to see if you got a hollow.
What you're looking at is what I was hearing about the other day.
That's wild. I mean,
from July 27th.
I guess people who want to open up packs on stream or for their YouTube channel, I guess if they did this prior, they would get more views because now they're pulling more hits. But then you get the whole point of pack opening is to have that natural reaction of a hit, right? You're taking away that natural reaction of a great pull when you're doing this.
I feel like we'd be able to tell too as viewers.
So the name of the company is Industrial Inspection and Consulting. They are set to launch a service that allows the use of a CT scanning technology to identify specific holographic cards and sealed Pokemon card booster packs.
Okay, but we can't sit here and pretend that all these companies, Wizards of the Coast, Pokemon Company, especially the Pokemon Company, are not going to lawyer the fuck up and say, your service is illegal. We're offering a sealed product, and you are trying to get through a loophole and devaluing the market. Anything, Pokemon, Nintendo, dude, they'll sue a little kid over a lollipop. Are you kidding me? They'll definitely go after this motherfucker.
There is nothing illegal about what they are doing.
They'll find a way, dude. They'll find a way.
They are selling sealed product, but it is a third-party market that resells these cards.
They'll find a legal.
That's what we were talking about on our podcast, where like.
No, go ahead. What?
That's like what we were talking about on our other podcast, where once the packs get into a third party hand, it's up to them on how they want to sell them, and if they're finding a way to figure out what's in these packs without opening them. I mean, I think Mike's right. Like, they're really not doing anything wrong.
Well, no, but the wrong part would be charging people for it. The wrong thing would be, like, the legal problem would be charging people and making money off of devaluing a pack that's sealed.
Yeah, but are they releasing the info
to the consumer?
And, like, hey, this pack has this in it. This is what you pay for it. Or is it just telling you what's in the pack and then you can just upsell that pack?
So the argument can be made that yes, they are charging to scan the pack, and there could be a hit in it, but the fact is it it's not even a 50-50 chance. There could not be a hit in that pack, and they just wasted $75 to scan a booster.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
but then they just sell
That's
that pack
true.
to somebody with hopes that there is a holo, and that guy knows there isn't. So he if anything, he'll charge a little more because he knows there's nothing in it. Like, how do you trust the aftermarket or third-party market at that point?
You can't.
You can't.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
really
Like,
can't.
especially for that kind of stuff. Like,
But
If-
it's already like that.
that's
If
no,
this-
dude, no,
if this whole
I don't
CT
think so.
scanning thing, if the whole CT
it's not to
scanning
that
thing
extent.
gains traction, it's going to completely ruin the sealed market.
100%.
Which the sealed market is the only thing retaining its value.
I think
Yeah.
they'll lawyer up. I think there's no way they just sit back
Yeah,
and
I
take
don't, I
that.
don't think it's gonna stick.
Or they can honestly just look at how they package. I mean, I'm sure they can
Oh yeah,
find a new way of
magnetic
packaging the
fucking
cards that-
paper.
yeah, if they can find a way that either unscannable
Go
or they
ahead,
just
try
destroy
and
the
scan
machine.
my pack. It'll
Go ahead and scan
ruin
it.
your machine.
It'll blow up your machine.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I think that would be their way if that's gonna start happening.
That would definitely be the road that they would go down if this was
But
to
then
be
you-
allowed.
But then you got to think they're adding something into the cards. It's going to cost them more money to make them. The cards are going to cost us more in the long run.
Okay, so I have a
It
dumb
already
question.
does.
Yeah, Mike's right. Long run, it already screws us players and collectors.
Yeah,
Both, no matter which way you go. screw
both.
us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yep.
so because apparently we're in the official reprint section of the podcast. We just made a whole segment for reprints because this is like actually a good subject. Like, maybe I'm not understanding this because I also collect comic books. So why is it that in comic book collecting, because I have I'm actually looking at it, my Heir to the Empire #1 first appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn for Star Wars. That book is like around 500, but it's been reprinted in a newer version, the same comic book, the same everything. Why does my original one still hold its original value, but Magic isn't the same way?
So
Maybe because of years.
because of years, context in that book, it may look exactly the same, but it is not exactly the same.
Correct.
On comic books, some of them will retain their barcode. When they get changed and reprinted, the barcode's missing. Just that slight difference increases the value of the original. Or with this whole cancel culture that's going on in the world, the original comic, there could have been a line in there somewhere that people nowadays would find offensive, and it has been changed.
Well, right, but I mean, like, same thing on a Magic card,
So
though.
you
It has
can't-
the set
you have
symbol.
An original, you can't erase that.
Well, right, but the same thing with the set symbol on a card. If you have an original set symbol, and
Yeah,
it
and
is
every
that
card has
card,
its own number.
it's its own number. It's from that set. So I don't see the difference really at all, other than it just doesn't
Well,
apply to
I
comic
mean,
books for some reason.
If Mike's theory is right, where they're changing up the wording, they're not changing up the wording on doubling seasons. You know what I mean? It's all the same text.
Right, but like, what
You-
if? Because it happens 90% of the time, though. It is a clean cut, 100% copy, except like just the price, because it has a modern price. So I don't see really the difference, because it has the same emotional
Different
value.
market could be different market, different everything.
it's different market and also different quantities.
Well, we're not
Magic-
playing with these things either, too. They're just straight
Yeah.
collectors.
That is just for straight collecting. Magic, it's a card game that's being played. There is a lot more of the reprinted card out in the world. There's a lot more of the original card out in the world. Where with the comic book, only so many of them were made.
But well, only so
Like-
many of the Magic cards were made too, and they make millions of the one comic book issue.
But depending on with the comic books, there's so much time in between that depending on copyright, depending on retaining the copyrights will determine if they can actually reprint it. If those copyrights expired and they never renewed them, that's what makes it more valuable.
I don't know.
Like
I mean,
the
I'm gonna argue to say that there's actually more comic books made, one comic book than one Magic card, because at the time of the release, there needs to
I
be
don't
one.
think
There needs to be one comic book at least on a shelf in every single comic book store in the world that's selling them, so everybody can get a copy if they want one. Like they need to be able to meet.
that's the
There's
other
there's
thing.
not
If you're
one
going
Magic
based off
card.
Just regular mythic and rare Magic.
No,
cards,
even
yeah, I would
common.
Maybe
You're
say,
not you're not
okay,
going to open
but,
a
like,
common a
no
pack and get
way.
the same common every time.
Well, the other thing with the comic books, Tyler, is there are more being printed right now because there is easier access for them to be all over the world. There's more of these stores all over the world. But back when that original comic came out, like say back in the 80s, back in the 70s, that comic, it very rarely would have left the States.
I'm trying to see if I can get
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see if I can get a number on how many are sold. Or I'm sorry, I mean how many comic books are printed like each year. I think it's a hard.
I mean, it's faster to get them from point A to point B right now. You know, it's faster to print, it's faster to ship, it's faster to, you know, everything than the 80s, obviously. But I mean, back then, I mean, that was like, I mean, that's all they had to do was arcades and comics, man. So like, I still think they would have got the comics where they needed to go eventually.
Yeah, but at that point, it's how many actually made it there, how many got lost, how many got damaged. That's why nowadays you find so many comics, but they are in piss poor shape, but they still sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, that's a whole different. That's
the best
supply and
condition you
demand.
can find it.
That's supply and demand. Yeah, like even this, like there's, according to Scryfall, 10,811 Magic cards were printed, or different cards were printed in 2023. Now, how many of those were actually sold? To have different kinds, that were made. And let me see how many.
That's not actually just, you know, how many copies of that one card of the 10,000.
Yeah, that's just how many like individual cards were actually.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that same number. Well, that's how many are sold in a year. Yeah, it's not. All right, we're getting off track. Sorry. Okay, back to Magic. Sorry. Okay, so reprints kind of suck, kind of not, on the fence. So we'll go to the actual main topic of the episode, which is power level. Now, this is going to be like I said in the rundown, like what makes a 7 a 7, what makes a 10 a 10, and when and how should you discuss power level when sitting down with your personal play group, with a public play group. You know, what makes, you know, a normal deck, what makes a precon up to an 8 or a 9? Like, is it one card? Is it a way you build it? A couple specific staple cards?
Personally, now this is just from my knowledge of being kind of told. I think it goes based off of your consistency and how fast you can pretty much pull and win, right?
Right, but are there any like
consistently and
staple
fast
cards
can you
that
win?
immediately make a deck an 8?
I think tutors immediately increase the power level of a deck. I think once you put like things like demonic
100%.
tutor and
So-
mystical tutor, I think that would increase your deck by 1 or 2 points right away.
It'd be. I also would say like shock lands or just lands that can produce multiple colors that don't come in tapped, or you have a way to make them untap. That is a big game changer in a deck build as well, is just being able to have those color sources that you need.
Yeah, if someone's playing like those kinds of lands, they're at least a 7 or 8. That's probably at least an 8. If they're playing that many like shock lands, like a fine-tuned land base, I think you're at least a 7.5. Like depending on who you're running and the other cards.
Yeah, I mean, I think going off what kind of what Leo said, like I think it's consistency of the deck, how consistently you're ramping, how consistently you're winning, how consistently you're just playing your cards. I mean, how fast you're winning, things like that. I think it's multiple variables. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if there's an actual formula out there that dictates what a power level is.
Right, but like when you're sitting at a table though, and someone's across from you, they're playing what seems to be a precon. If they drop a mana crypt turn 1, are you immediately like, oh, that's an 8 or a 9?
Power levels, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, well,
no.
first of all,
Right.
don't
But it
call
gives
a
you-
precon if you have a mana crypt in it.
No, but I'm saying like, but my point being is, what if that's the only upgrade they did? I'm saying turn 1, they just seemed like they have an 8 level deck, 8 or 9, because of how good of a turn 1 they had. Like if they went turn 1 mana crypt to Soul Ring, you're like, oh my god, here we attack that guy. But what if that's the only upgrade he did? That doesn't make it an 8, you know?
I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it in the text chat for you guys.
Oh, why does it just say "fuck you"? What the hell, Mike? No, I'm just kidding.
there is a guide to the power levels.
But this is like, but somebody made this. This wasn't like from Wizards of the Coast, though.
No, it's not. Well, you got to remember, Commander started out as a fan-made format, and that's what it really was until not too long ago.
Okay, so basically a modified precon is a staple 5, right? So if I have a precon and I put a mana crypt in it, it's instantly at least a 5, according to this chart.
Upgraded precons. There's decks with a plan.
Living on the
playing
edge.
with power. So mana crypt is classified as playing with power, but that one card being added to the deck wouldn't bring a precon from a 3 or a 4 up to a 7.
Yeah, it would be at least a 5.
Yeah.
But wait, whoa. You're saying a deck can raise 2 points from one card that you may never get?
No, I said it doesn't.
Right.
I said that a mana crypt is a power card, but if you put just a mana crypt in a 3 or 4 level deck, it doesn't immediately jump to a 7. It goes up to like a 5.
But one card makes it jump that much? That's insane.
Because it's an upgraded precon.
But one card makes the whole deck upgraded?
It would technically be classified that way.
That's crazy. I just think it's crazy.
But it's like I explained to you yesterday, Tyler. A precon nowadays is nothing like what this list represents, because precons now are almost level 7 by themselves.
Yeah, they honestly are.
Yeah, Travis, the one you played.
Kind of the way that the Dino deck came out in Ixalan was like right out the box was like a power level 7.
So
I mean, Joe's precon had an infinite loop in it. So
jeez. I mean, I think they should,
Simic,
though.
The Simic deck that out of Modern Horizons, I don't remember what the name of it is. It has an infinite loop in it where you can constantly keep creating Merit Lage, the 2020 Flying Indestructible token from Dark Depths.
That sounds like a Joe thing that he would do. I just feel like I think precons, like, if they wanted to cater to new players and make it easy for someone to get into Commander or Magic, for that matter, I think they should be 7s, because I think if you're constructing your own decks, you should probably build something better than a 7, or a 7 or higher. Like, if you're going to throw your own mustard on something.
Just reading these, I don't think anyone in our play group has a 9 or a 10.
No.
Like let's see, 8, Living on the Edge. Decks have a specific, consistent game plan, often following defined lines of play. Every card enables, supports, or protects the deck's primary strategy. Lots of low-cost ramp and tight curves means casting multiple spells a turn can be expected as early as turn 1. Many decks, but not all, are high budget to budget-less.
I think you can argue we have some 7s or 8s.
Yeah, I think we all have an 8, but we most play 7s.
All right, so Tyler and Leo, you guys have played against my Atraxa deck, my super friends.
It's ass.
What would you say its power level is?
4 sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
Realistic. Come on.
That's probably one. It's hard to say, because I feel like if we're going by these rules, I feel like Slivers follows more of a 8, and Atraxa would be more of a 7.
Yeah.
Because Atraxa enables a game plan in your deck, but Slivers is the game plan in the Sliver deck.
So in the Atraxa deck, Atraxa speeds it up.
Right, she's a tool.
Without her,
she's a tool for Super Friends.
She is a tool that speeds it up.
Right, but I think an 8, like Travis said last episode, your deck should stand on its own and win without your commander.
Correct.
And I think
my Atraxa deck does.
No, I think Atraxa is way slowed down if Atraxa isn't on the field. No proliferations, I think, slows that deck down tremendously.
The deck has multiple ways to proliferate without my Atraxa.
Right, but I'm saying Atraxa is such a big proponent of that deck to proliferate, like even faster. But decks like Slivers, who do you play? Is it Sliver Overlord?
It's Sliver Overlord that the deck heavily relies on because of its tutor ability to go get the sliver that I specifically need for that situation.
Right, but there's so many other Slivers is what I'm saying. Like, I've played against you when you've never had Sliver Overlord because it's either gotten countered, removed, whatever, and Slivers is still fucking annoying to play with because everything's flying, everything's +2/+2, everything's hexproof.
The synergy in it is just
through the roof.
Because with the sliver aspect of it, whereas with Atraxa, it's like the synergy isn't. Like Tyler said, it slows you down.
All right, so
not having her on the
Atraxa,
field.
Atraxa's 7, borderline 8. I put it out there to the community earlier today about my Atraxa deck and what they would classify its power level at. They said 5.
But why?
Get shit on.
Yeah.
Well,
Get shit on.
I'm wondering the same question. Nobody elaborated their decision, and
Of course not.
I'm looking at the deck, and I'm like, yes, there's some obvious upgrades I could do. Like I can fix the land base, could use a little bit of fixing, but there's not anything major that needs to be done to it. The deck functions. It has a clear win 2 or 3 clear win conditions, and it's like, the deck functions like this list says, the same way. I have a constant game plan, and I basically do the same thing.
I don't know. Ever since Travis said it last week, I can't get out of my head. It's so true. Your commander should be mid-tier and support your deck and not make you an obvious threat right when it comes out. It's probably 5 because I'm playing against Atraxa. Atraxa's dead. Any chance I get. But when Travis was playing his pre-con yesterday, Travis, I'm pretty sure your commander was on board for like the whole game, right?
It died once.
It died once. And my Tesa was on board for, a few turn rotations and then got nuked for, not because someone was like specifically like get rid of Tesa. Like, I think the strongest deck almost is what Travis said, is you're kind of floating in the middle, but the deck is stacked itself, has its own synergy. The commander just kind of helps. When Atraxa, Kalia, like those, they get immediate target.
Those are the engines. Those are engine commanders.
Engine,
Yeah,
yeah.
There are decks that I have that are significantly engine decks.
Target.
There's other decks I have that are obviously not. Like Tyler, you said, my Sliver deck. I don't need the commander to make that deck function.
Yeah.
I also have an Dragon deck. That Dragon, he gives me utility even in the command zone.
Yeah,
so I don't need him on the field. And that deck functions almost every time I play it. I am very heavily targeted. And it's only because I got 10 dragons that I'm shitting out left and right.
Works until you play with me, bitch, and then you lose. No, I'm just kidding.
Where would you guys put my Joda deck? I know majority of you guys have played it. Like me, I've always thought that was my most powerful deck next to Yorok, but I don't know. I feel like Joda's also around a 7 or an 8. I just feel like it's really consistent.
I think it's no less, obviously no less than 7. I feel like it hits the mark of, it's not too, Joda's awesome, but it's still a legendary deck, and you have other means to support that. Like Joda can be on the field, but
yeah, I've won without him for a lot of times. But like when he's on the field, it doubles in power, in my opinion. It just, between the cascading and the power ups, he gets ridiculous.
Right, but is it decreasing too much though? Because when he's off the field, we're all talking about how hard the brake pedal is getting hit if our commander's not on the field. Because if it's only slightly, that's a more powerful deck.
I get looked at less when he's not on the field for sure, but I feel like when he's not on the field, I actually prefer that, sort of, because I feel like the deck can win without him, and I feel like if people think I'm not a threat with him in the command zone, I'm actually in a good spot. I mean, he just provides the +1/+1 stack and the cascade, but
yeah,
he gives me a lot of free utility, which is what gets my deck out of control. But I don't know. I feel like I don't need him to win games, though.
Right.
I mean, that sounds similar to what I say my Atraxa deck is.
Yeah.
The deck functions without the commander, but the commander significantly helps.
Well, that's Coma. I mean, if we're playing by these rules, Coma's 7. Coma, because if he's removed, I can still win with that deck, but it hits the brake pedal kind of harder. I mean, I can still ramp into crazy shit, but like I want tokens on the field, the Coma's Coil tokens, and then the deck supports, what's the Garuk's, anytime upright, what is that?
I'll be honest with you. I think power level also determines what kind of game you're playing. If you're playing a generic 1v1, right? Like your Coma deck, Tyler, will actually be weaker if you were playing a 4-way free for all, because now you're getting double the upkeep, you're getting double the triggers.
True.
You're getting so much more utility. So I think there's decks out there that really dictate what kind of game you're playing. Or,
like imagine if we're playing a 6-man free for all, Coma's insane. That means when it gets back to me, I got 6 more Coma Skull tokens before it's even my next turn.
Correct. So it's
my
like
Kalia deck is the same way. Like if I'm playing a one-on-one game, my Kalia deck would be ranked an 8 or 9. Where if I'm playing in a 4-player pod, Kalia's a 3, maybe 4, because it's just it's not worth it.
Well,
I don't get the
you don't get the
benefit.
user.
But my issue with Kalia is
So
if you have a Voltron commander, you're already a 7. You'll never be an 8. Because if you're Voltron, that means you need to stack up. You're so reliant on your commander, like with Kalia. Because what's everyone says? She's a 2/2. You immediately have to start giving her hexproof. This, you know, this
indestructible.
indestructible.
Unblockable.
Yeah, because without Kalia, useless. I think Kalia is really down there. Like I think she's just 6 deck with a plan. It's a tuned deck with a plan. And she is the plan.
Definitely.
And if the plan goes out the window, I mean, how often do you see a Kalia player going, land pass?
Deck's about 6.
Well, I mean, it could be stacked to a 7, but it really have to support the rest of the deck to go up a number.
So the way that the Kalia deck would be able to get there is simply by, for example, mine. It's got Mother of Runes in it. It's got Giver of Runes in it. It's got the swords in it to help to give her protection from colors, boots to give her protection. Like it's like you guys said, she needs to have that protection to make it so that she can't be touched.
But I don't think that raises its number because you're only saying cards that are protecting Kalia. One card. The cards that would raise it would be cards that are supporting everything else in the deck. More tutors, more ways to get, mystical tutor, demonic tutor, diabolic tutor. Like you're constantly getting things into your hand that you need that you can play anyway without Kalia. Like if Kalia is not like removed from the game, you should be able to use cards in that deck that supports the other cards in the deck, not to support Kalia. Because if you support Kalia, I think the number goes down. But if you support the rest of the deck, I think the number goes up.
Yes, that is true. The number of the deck goes up when you prioritize the whole deck and not just one card.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
personally, my Kalia deck is meant.
Deck?
I think dinos have really good synergy on its own.
Deck at Petlanza.
Yeah, I think
it does. Without the commander out, I think it's okay because it's got enough ramp in it. Where my dinos cost a lot, but with the ramp that's in there.
Yeah, I think your dino deck's a solid 7.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think because all the support it's gotten over the sets.
Regardless.
Yeah, with Ixalan and previous dino cards. I think Ixalan, Caverns of Ixalan, really put all dino decks to a 7. There are support now. There's more dino themes.
Going tribal puts you like almost at a 7. Just going tribal.
Tribal's immediately a 6 at least.
Yeah, tribal.
Because that's because 6 reads decks with a plan. I think good synergy and actually,
So, okay.
I think so. And then I think if you have tribal plus, some powerhouse cards, I think that'll make it a 7, regardless of commander. If you're tribal with some a good ramp package and buff, if you're playing, say you're playing dinos, you want to buff them and run people over. So if you're playing a really good ramp package plus a couple like haymaker cards like overwhelming stampede or like a Craterhoof Behemoth, I think that would that makes it a 7 for sure. That's playing with power.
There's a column to this guide right here that we haven't talked about. It's called turn count. Now, you guys think that's turn to win? Like turn to win count?
I didn't even see. I didn't even see turn to win.
So, I mean, just going off of that column alone, I can tell you right now, nobody here really has anything in the 9 or 10 range for power level. Because I don't think anyone here wins turn 4.
No, I very seldom have one like turn 6.
I have one turn 5 or 6 on my mill deck, but
yeah,
I mean that's just mill. But I think going off that, I think this chart actually breaks it down very well. I think we easily go into turns 9, 10, 11 quite often. But I mean, I do see someone winning turn 9 if they have an insane start. You know what I mean?
And look at even how they're actually named. Absolutely. 7 and 8 are considered optimized, and 9 and 10 are considered competitive. I wouldn't look at any of my decks and say this is competitive.
I agree.
I'd say this is a strong deck.
Be like, I have a 9.
Yeah, I would never say that.
I couldn't do it.
There is only one person I have played against, like within my friend group, that has what this chart classifies as a competitive deck. And that's Nick. He's the only one I've played against that has a deck that is 1 turn 4 or less.
Well, to be fair, have any of us ever sat down and actually said, I'm going to make a competitive deck?
No,
because
I refuse to make a competitive
my bank account does
deck.
not
No, I mean money aside.
Can't
Like
afford that.
if we could, you could make a competitive deck and not have it be $1 million. But my point being is, anyone ever actually sat down and said, I want to win turn 3 with this deck? Like I've always said, I want to make a good synergy. I want this to be powerful as hell.
Joe.
I want to win.
Joe.
Does he though? Like what decks of his is considered competitive though?
So
I mean, you go.
I want to sit down and have a good
I
time.
I have not made a competitive deck. I have not sat down to make a competitive deck because Commander to me is not competitive. For me, Commander is meant for us all to just sit down, have fun.
Have a
Our
game,
decks
yeah.
do what we want it to do. If I want to go in and win in 4
Are we
turns or
talking
less,
to
I'm
the
gonna go
same
play
Mike that
Legacy.
I sit down at the table with?
Oh, he's calling you out.
Possibly.
He's calling you out.
I'm
When I play
wondering,
one
yeah,
on
I'm
one,
just-
well,
it's the
when
same
I play
guy,
one
right?
on one, when I play one on one, it doesn't matter what I'm playing. I'm playing to win, and I'm going to beat you as fast as I can. When I'm sitting in a group full of people, no, I'm going to sit back and do what I want to do.
Bro, I'm just gonna say we called you out for cheating last week. We were lighting your
Yeah.
ass up.
What the fuck?
No, it
I
was
have not
no,
cheated.
pause. No, Leo brought up a really good point. Mike, you've done this. Don't sit here and fucking lie. We have been
Wait, what
in
did I do?
I'm gonna tell you. We've been in a commander game, and if you've been on the ropes or you're on your way out, you won't scoop, but you'll start looking at the top card of your fucking deck and think, am I gonna still play?
Yeah.
Should I still play if this card's good or bad? You've done that. Don't lie.
I have done that, but that's because almost all of my friend groups that I play with do that as
Oh,
well.
so you're all
It's-
douchebags. Sick.
Well, it's something I'm comfortable with doing in a friend group. In a competitive setting, I would not do that. But like I said,
Whoa.
I'm not sitting here playing competitive.
You just said you play one-on-one, you're getting competitive. But then if you're losing one-on-one, you'll start looking at cards. I mean, pick a side of the fence. What are you doing?
No, if I'm losing one-on-one,
We'll be looking
I'm
at
losing
no
really
cards.
fucking fast. I ain't looking at the top card of my deck unless I look at my opponent and be like, hey, I'm losing on my next turn unless this top card's something good. Can I just look at it real quick? No? Fuck, I'm done.
We've done that.
Yeah, no, that's
We've done
we've
that,
all done the
like,
playful shit. Yeah.
You know, like we're all just about to scoop and we're like, hey, everybody just want to look at their next card? And we're
Yeah,
like,
I
shit,
mean,
we might be able to play this one
I
out.
said this in the last podcast. I'm like, in a 4-way free-for-all, 2 at a giant theme, like, I think you gotta let the cycle go through. Unless that guy's winning that turn, you gotta give it that one turn where everyone can draw one more card. Because you
Yeah.
don't know what they got. I've seen it too many times that they win the game. Like, the next team who's losing wins, or they board wipe and you keep going off for 10 more turns. Like, you really don't know. But I guess it really depends on, I mean, again, board state, decks you're facing, it's so situational.
Well, it's situational, and also like in the moment too. You can kind of both be at a point where you're like, "Yo, just look at your next card. I'm gonna look at mine. Like, what is it? Okay, yeah, we're good here. You know,
It's a land. Yeah, I'm dead. All right.
it's a land up to me.
I mean,
My God, last
It's a land,
fucking
nothing changes.
EDH. No, we're playing. I was searching for. I wasn't drawing 2 cards per turn. Still not getting any lands for like 3 turns in a row. So 6 cards, and then Travis played a card and made us all morph the top card of our deck. So put it down as a trap card, like Yu-Gi-Oh style. And I put it face down. I'm looking at this. Well, no, we could anyway. We could look at it, right, Travis?
yeah, we can look at it.
And it's a land. The only land in 6 cards, and then I didn't get one for like 4 more. I was so
Yeah,
burnt about it.
It's called perfect time morphing.
Yeah, it was a perfect time to fuck me. God.
But no, I think power level is a very interesting topic. I mean, I definitely think at least the 4 people in this call, will include Joe too. I think we all have at least a 7 or an 8. You know what I mean? I think if we all sat down, it would be a pretty even, like an even match. You know what I mean? We all have a deck that plays with power for sure.
So how do you have the discussion with strangers? How do you sit down and say? Because what if
with this chart?
Well, we're not gonna break this chart out every time. If I say, "Hey, what are you running?" and I'm like, "I got a
Get this
7."
shit laminated and bring it with
Yeah.
you everywhere you go.
All right, this is for everyone to look at. Do your homework, please. But if I sit down and I say it's a 7, but then I start playing and the guy goes, "Dude, that's a 9," and I'm like, "What the fuck? This is not a
I'd be
9."
like, I'm like, no, I'm playing with power.
I'm playing with.
I am not a tier 2 CEDH deck player.
But like when you sit down, should you
Yeah.
actually mention some of the cards that are in the deck? Like what if I sit down with
Yes.
Coma, because if I have Coma, people immediately think, I mean, and it's all in there, don't get me wrong, but they think Parallel Lives, Doubling Season, Crater Hoof. And I'll say, hey, yeah, I got Coma. I run Crater Hoof, Doubling Season, and Parallel Lives.
Then I would say to that
that is-
person,
No, I think you should definitely do that because I've sat down at a play group at Flipside before when I first built my zombie deck from my commander with it was the Scarab God, and like I didn't think my zombie deck was any kind of power level where it wasn't like an 8 or anything like that. So they were like, "Oh, like what's your power level?" And I was like, "Oh, like I think I'm just kind of somewhere around like a 5." Like I was just kind of thinking myself. This was before I knew power levels.
Mm.
And I pulled out the Scarab God, and he immediately just got shut down. He was like, the guy was like, "No, like that's not." He's like, "That's more like an 8. Like I've seen what he can do. Like we're not playing that power level." And I was like, "Yeah, but like I haven't."
But I'm broke.
even,
None of
like,
those
I
cards
don't
are in
even think
here.
he's built that well.
Yeah, that's
Right,
the thing.
right.
People will sit there and ask you like, "Oh, what's in the deck?" You could say the power cards that are in the deck, but if you don't have the ramp or the land base to get there, it's
Yeah.
not a
Doesn't
high
matter.
enough power level.
Yeah.
But like,
That
then
goes back
do you
to
have
the
to go through your whole
consistency,
deck
like,
list though?
Definitely a discussion
How
at the beginning of the
consistent is your
game.
deck?
But, like, should
whenever
you-
I've sat down at a deck to play, the only question I've really been asked is what's the power level and is there infinite combos? And
Yeah, I
nowadays,
think,
there's an
yeah.
infinite combo in almost any deck.
I think
What-
I think that's
infinite
yeah.
combos instantly an 8, in my opinion.
I think so. And well, and also you say
I
like,
think-
hey, is that like
I hate infinite combos.
Yeah,
why?
I hate that shit. Too.
Get fucked. That means you don't have any.
I'm sorry.
What-
I
Because
Play more
almost
than
every
combos,
one
bro.
of my
I
decks
don't.
has one.
I don't build to have infinite combos. Like because I don't like them in general. So
I have them, but I don't. I don't like
I don't like
using
them.
them. You know what I mean? I don't like the
I-
infinite combos. On turn 10, if this card's on the field, I win the game. Those cards. I mean, that's why I don't play my mill anymore. You know what I mean? It says,
Oh,
mill half your deck rounded
Yeah.
up, and my commander says double the mill count.
I-
Okay, I kill you with one swing.
I fucking
It's
hate
like-
losing the mill.
Yeah,
so do
so I
That's
mean,
that's the worst. I'd rather lose the damage or what. Infect. Infect's the worst. I take it back. Infect
I
then
was
mill.
just saying, whoa, and I don't know.
No,
about that.
10,
Wor-
10
worst
damage?
ways to lose ranked 1 to 3. I hate losing to infect, mill, and then commander damage.
yeah,
No,
commander damage.
commander
yes.
damage bothers me 0. That is
Yeah, commander damage.
I think
that's
that is
under control.
it's a big part of the game. I think
Yeah.
infect and things that were created without commander in mind, but commander damage was clearly made with commander in mind.
That's fair.
That's like my only like. I mean, infect sucks. Like 10, and then with all the proliferation out there too, it's
Commander just amplified infect.
exactly.
I hate losing for existing.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like on your
Okay,
upkeep, sack 3
like-
creatures, take
like-
5 life.
Yeah, on your upkeep. Yeah, every time you play a card, take 5 life.
Yeah,
Like
painful quandary.
every time you tap a land, take 2 life.
Yeah, just existing, you
And
die. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, just existing. That right
yeah.
there, I hate.
I never
that,
even
man.
thought about that. That
Yeah,
actually.
we've had
that
games where
sucks.
it's like on every upkeep, like take 5 damage or whatever. It's like a card's on the field, like because of whatever's on the field. All right, just on my upkeep, I don't even get to draw my card yet. I'm just scooping
Yeah.
because that's what I have left. It sucks.
That I didn't even think about. Yeah, getting penalized for existing.
There's a lot of shitty ways to die in Magic for sure, and I guess like we're at a point to where you got to find which way suits you. Kill people.
Magic is simply, oh, you're breathing, take 5 points of damage.
Yeah.
Literally. So
Oh
100%.
god.
yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move this to the fuck that segment. Leo, what do you got going on? What's your fuck
Oh, no,
that?
skip me. Go to the next. Go to the next.
Why is nobody ever ready for this segment?
Well, I didn't play this week either, so like I'm.
He
I'm
uses
trying to,
he uses
like,
his
think of one.
games as examples.
Oh, use the games as examples.
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't.
have,
It
like,
doesn't have to be a
situational
play
stuff and-
thing. It can just be
I got
something
one.
in general.
I got
Are you
one.
good to go?
My fuck that segment is the United States Postal Service, and I hope they're listening because you have two of my Bloomborough collector boxes, and you said they're gonna be here on Saturday, and now they're being rerouted for some reason. So fuck them. I want my cards. I'm pissed the fuck off.
What time frame we looking at? Like how long we got now?
No, it says it'll let us know when they have an updated time frame of
Because
delivery. It's
bro, I
like,
don't know.
cool.
Someone dropped
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they're like, where is it being rerouted to? How did it get lost from Albany to Waterville? Like, walk me through that. So it's like,
I told him it fell between the seats, bro.
Yeah, so and it is Magic related because I'm literally waiting on 2 collector boxes, and as a customer, I spent $500 on 2 boxes. I want my goddamn boxes.
I want my fucking product, guy.
And if this shit shows up damaged,
I was gonna say, all your packs are gonna be open.
yeah, well they
That's
better
definitely
put good cards in there.
That's a good fuck
Already
that.
X-rayed all your packs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He already knows it's all shit.
delayed for scanning. Yeah,
Bro,
if
just
the
drop
ever
it.
says that.
Who cares if you drop the pack? There's nothing in there. I already looked.
But yeah, so fuck the United States Postal Service.
I like that. That is a good one. I did not see that coming. All right, I'll go next. I'll give you two time to think. My fuck that is I was just thinking about it. This didn't specifically happen recently, but it has happened. My specific fuck that is an unrepresented board state. People who flip cards just over and expect me to just remember that that's a 4/4. Like Travis, you saw the other night that I gave you a dice because your morph tokens were 2/2s, and that's like not because you weren't doing what you were supposed to do. I was just like offering a dice really for me to be like, okay, those are 2/2s. But if you're playing against people you don't know and they're creating tokens and you have no idea, so if I can't look at your board state and know what the hell is going on as far as blockers, because you're just flipping random cards you have over to represent whatever, you're using no dice to make any type of notation, or if you're doing it your own cute way that nobody understands, like, and then I declare an attack, I make a strategic move against you, and you're like, no, dude, these are all 4/4s. And I'm like, what? Since they were just 1/1s. Yeah, I buffed them last turn.
You're expected
Did I
to
do
know
that to you? Did I not say there?
No, this wasn't you. No, because I was able to look at your board save and understand, because you did the 1 dice above everything.
Yeah, say everything face down to 2/2.
Yeah, everything's a 2/2, and then if you buffed them, you had a second dice. So, and I understand that, but like that makes the most sense. But people have literally, I played against people, they've literally just flipped cards over, and they're like, oh, these are all 1/1s, and then they put 3, or no, say they're all 3/3s, right? But then they put a 3 dice counter above them all. So I'm thinking, okay, those are all 3/3s. So I swing like, no, dude, this is 3 1/1 counters. These are all 3/3s, so they're 6 6s. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I just gave away a strategic move of what I was going to do. Like, I was going to swing against you because I thought they were all fucking 3/3s. And now you know I'm coming after you. So now you're going to deal with me first because you know I'm coming after you. I think it's just dumb.
I think your board state definitely has to be
clear.
Readable for
Well, buy the right tokens.
Can I make a comment?
Buy the right tokens. Tokens are cheap, except if they're Coma Squirrel tokens. Don't buy those. But if you just get the right tokens and put them on the field, that's all.
Having the right tokens, putting them on the field, yes. But there is also a line about what warrants having a dice on that card to explain what it is, and this is from a rules and a rule Nazi basically point of view.
Only when it matters to you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
when
kidding.
I played Legacy, when I was playing Legacy, the rules were very strict. Of if your card has +1/+1 counters on it, you can put the dice on it. But if it's getting a buff from another creature or something else, your opponent has to remember that. That was the rule.
That's horseshit. Why is that?
No, I think that was the same in Modern.
Yeah, in sanctioned card games, that is what the ruling was. You need to remember what the board state is.
Okay, so I will be willing to accept that. If that is like quite literally the rule, I'll accept that. But what I won't accept is when someone puts a card face down and then puts a dice, and even if they did all that and it was a little 1/1, but it's actually a 1/1 rat creature token with death touch. You need to represent the death touch. If I look over at your board, I don't need to remember that the blank Yu-Gi-Oh card you flipped over is death touch.
If I remember correctly, in Legacy format and everything, if a token was created, you need to have the physical token.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because I need to know what you're playing with, and then I'm revealing strategic advances that I'm making, and then I don't have all the information. Like, that's breaking the rules. Like, I need to know what you have.
What you're saying is, when we get bundles and we throw out them little cardboard cutouts, we should keep those.
Well, those
Yeah,
the
you should
pluses
probably
and
keep
minuses,
those.
but
Because like literally, well, no, they also have like they come out with like the flying ones and the death touch ones.
yeah.
You know, like that's not a bad idea because I can't tell you how many times I have like gone to swing at somebody, and then they're like, oh no, they're 1/1 flyers.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Oh,
what the fuck?
would have been fucking nice to know.
You know? And yeah, and it's like, okay, I'm supposed to remember that when I'm sitting down and I'm playing with 5 other people? No.
Yeah,
But,
that's
yeah, so I mean,
just like a
I
oof
guess
of
having
mine.
those indicators. Yeah.
This is a
I can see
strategic
it.
game. I need to know what's happening. Just because you know, and to Mike's point, yes, there may be a rule. Well, I may have to remember creature buffs, but I don't have to remember what that is. You should represent it. If it's a 1/1 rat
I agree.
creature token with Death Touch.
Yep.
And don't get fucking
it
mad
should
at
be
me.
represented.
You know, like I print mine from a fucking printer at home because the Comus Coil tokens are $10 a piece now. And Flipside didn't even have any. I asked him on Friday. So I'm not ordering so I'll print them out. I am still representing the board state, even though those tokens are a lot of money and not available because people should know what they are. Whew, I gotta get off my bitch session. All right, someone else go. I gotta drink some water. I get so worked
Mine's
up.
really simple. Scalpers can go fuck themselves.
Scalpers.
Scalpers. It makes it difficult for people that can't afford, like, we can't afford to drive all the way to the card shops because they're so far away from us. So we go to the big box stores trying to find maybe one booster pack or a bundle.
Oh,
and
two steppers.
They're just all gone.
Yeah.
Like I was amazed. I've been looking for Assassin's Creed boosters and I have not been able to find them. I've only found collector boosters and I can't afford a collector booster right now.
I got a bundle for sale.
Oh yeah. He does. We were just talking about it.
And I was amazed. I walked into Target the other day and they actually had the normal boosters. And I was like, oh, nice, dope. I'm getting that. I'm getting one. But it's like when I'm going out trying to find, like, I want a booster pack of Modern Horizons, but I can't afford the 30-minute drive all the way up to the card shop when I got a normal store down the street. But they don't have any because as soon as restock hits, somebody's there and takes them all.
Yeah, I think that was more of a problem in COVID too.
So my fuck you topic was actually kind of almost go a little bit along with what Mike's was, because I would say card placement in those stores, right? Because I've been noticing they've been moving the cards around. Actually, if you go to Target, they're not up in the front anymore where they normally would be. I found them in the back where they keep the pops.
I just called Mike the other day actually and told him that the Walmart by us just moved them to up front and then a week later moved them back to the toy section.
In the state in the state of New York, they're the only big box stores I've seen where they have a separate card section where they're up near the registers. Because I've traveled down to North Carolina and I've stopped at Targets, I've stopped at Walmarts going all the way down, and in every single one of those stores outside of New York State, they are in the back near the collectibles or in the toy section.
It's because we steal, bro. It's because we steal. That's probably why they want more eyes on it. But no, I saw them make that planogram and then take it down a week later.
Yeah, I was in the back of Target, found a whole actual Pokemon card section in the toy section, and that's what made me go back and look over at the collectibles, and I ended up finding a Modern Horizons gift bundle.
Oh.
I had to do some digging for it, but I found it.
Damn.
Somebody's probably very upset that you found the one they hid.
They're like, it's not here!
Yeah,
damn it, Johnny, you
thinking.
said it would be here on payday!
Yeah. I definitely ruined somebody's day that day.
For sure. That's funny. Yeah, that's definitely, and it was, I don't know what the reason could have been too, because I watched them make that, they were building the planogram up at the registers, and then no kidding, the next week it was gone. And I was like, what happened to the cards? They're like, oh, they moved them back to toys. Like, what was the directive from Walmart that said, you know what? Nah, move them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's very, very strange. All right, let's move to our closing statements. Let's move. Wait, Travis, did you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're fuck the post office. You made that real quick and to the point.
USPS.
USPS. US piece of shit. That's what the PS is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my closing statements. What are we all doing this week? Are we anybody going to Commander on Friday, or what are we doing?
So I was thinking. So I'm pretty sure we discussed, right, that we were gonna get together and actually do a play segment to do our next podcast show about our play.
Yeah, actually, on that front too,
our play group.
I created a YouTube and Twitch channel for us, so we're all good to go on that front. So if we want to like just stream like a whole Commander game of ours and have camera setups,
Yeah, I'm done.
we're good to go.
Well, for that, we can all do Spell Table. We could play Spell Table, and only one person would have to stream to the Twitch channel, and you just copy the Spell Table browser.
Well, yeah, we can do that. I mean, in person will also be fun. We can try this because I'm a fan of Spell Table. Because like right now, what's recording the podcast is my Streamlabs, and I've recorded multiple Commander games on Spell Table. If on the Twitter has a couple clips from it, so yeah, we could do that. We could try that too. Why not? If we're gonna be playing anyway. I know Travis isn't a fan of Spell Table. I don't know why.
I don't. When we all get
Doesn't really have a
together,
setup
how
for it.
would you go about recording all of our
Dangle a
Our play
camera from the
areas.
ceiling.
if you got the setup for it?
No, I'm serious. Like actually, like
Yeah.
Joe had that idea.
No, I know.
He's like, we get an arm and then just put it all above us like they do when they record games for YouTube and stuff, and then just stream it right from the phone as long as the quality's good enough.
Can we do like a 3D printer and make a camera arm?
Mike's got a 3D printer.
Mike's 3D printer is broken.
When does it ever fucking work? It's always broken or you're out of
His
filament.
3D printer is like the
it-
McDonald's ice cream machine.
It works, but not
Unfortunately,
really.
yes. The SD card slot on it shit the bed, and now in order to use it, I have to have my computer running and it plugged into my computer, and I just don't have it set up because this house isn't equipped with the correct outlets for me to plug it in.
Go change the outlets, bro. You're a homeowner now. You gotta do it yourself. Can't call a landlord.
Mike, can I have a chocolate frosty? Sorry, the machine's out.
Can you
I'm gonna
3D print
I'm
me?
gonna upgrade all the electrical in the house.
Can you
so-
3D print me a McFlurry? I can't. It's down.
Yeah.
God damn.
Alrighty.
All right, Leo. Did you also realize that I did not edit out you going goodbye, everybody? Have a good week.
I did not. You should have.
No, why? It was fine. You just said goodbye. Have a good week. What's wrong with that?
I know. I don't know. I felt so weird.
I can't
saying
wait
it.
till you say something dumb today on our
Oh,
outro right now.
Yep. I was-
Fucking dumb. Mike, when we say bye to the podcast, we all just go bye. So we're gonna. Oh, I have kids banging at my door anyway. So all right, let's wrap this one up. We'll see you guys next week.
Perfect timing.
Look at that. All right, I'm gonna
Next
say
weekend.
bye,
Yeah, peace,
podcast.
bitches.
Bye bye.
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 I'm glad Leo said something last. Haha, fuck off.